Men's average testosterone has halved in the last 50 years, scientists say. Men's average testosterone levels have halved over the past 50 years, according to scientists who say society is facing a male fertility problem. Total testosterone levels in men have declined 54% since 1972 to 2019. According to data presented at the annual meeting of the European Society of Human Reproduction and Embryology in London on Tuesday. I think this information's been around for a little while, but they're affirming it on Tuesday. Rising levels of obesity and diabetes are expected to play a part, but the team behind the work suggests the environment factors such as endocrine disrupting chemicals, which can be found in various household items and global heating, could also be factors in the apparent striking decline. So I think most of us, especially you guys watching these videos on my channel, you're aware of this stuff. We've been privy to this for a while. We don't need scientists telling us based on a study that they did on Tuesday. But it still is the problem. We still have the problem. It was a problem 5 years ago, maybe when you found out, and it's a problem today when scientists are telling you that it's a problem. So whenever there's a problem, well, what do we look for? A solution. So let's talk a little bit about not the problem, because I think we're inundated with problems. We know that there's a problem, and there are all kinds of perceived solutions to the problem. So we know why there's the problem. We know that there are solutions to the problem, but there's a problem behind the problem, and that's what I want to talk about here today, because you're not going to get general run-of-the-mill information about like how to boost your testosterone or how to use peptides here on my channel. I'm more of a philosopher than a pill pusher. So here's what we're going to do. We know that there's a problem, and the root of the problem comes from this problem solution orientation that the oligarchy has enacted upon us. There's a term for it. I can't remember it. I went looking for it, but I drew a blank. But essentially, you create a problem and then you create a solution. We know this from the pandemic. Everybody remembers, whoa, there's a problem. Don't worry, we got a solution. Well, according to studies that I've seen, or books I've read, or resources I've come across, we know that the Rockefeller Foundation, the Rockefellers, part and parcel of this process of creating problems and then offering solutions. The problem in this instance is the food industry. We know that the Rockefeller Foundation owns most of the processed food manufacturers, right? If you don't know, go look it up. But there's one organization, brilliant people who recognize that if we own the food, we produce the food, we create the food, and it's poisonous food, it's actually very profitable. Because the things that we're giving to you that you need for your survival are now making you sick, and we've got a solution for you. We got the solution for you. And I can't help but think, now this is just from my own observation, that the reason why we have a food and drug administration, like why are they together? Why are foods and drug together? Because like food is the problem, drug is the solution. Let's work together to make sure that we do it right. That's what we have. We have a world where problems are created so that there are solutions offered. And what most of us will do when we hear this about testosterone, we'll get afraid, we'll get worried, we'll go and we'll get tested, and we'll discover my numbers are low, and then they're right there with a solution. They're right there with the solution. I don't think, a lot of people, a lot of testosterone pushing guys, the TRT guys, I think they believe that they're coming from this alternative perspective. They think that they're coming from this heroic or rebellious perspective. Like if the world's going to screw us by poisoning us so that our testosterone levels drop, well, then we're going to do the right thing and get on steroids. We're going to get on TRT. But that's exactly what they want you to do. They created a problem by all these endocrine disruptors that the guy is talking about, and all the food and the obesity and the diabetes and all the crazy shit that made us sick. But the very same people are the people that are pushing the solution. Well, you got to take some TRT. I remember learning about this declining of testosterone and the movement to that men are like, they're taking their power back by using testosterone, and I kind of rallied behind that a little bit until like I woke up and I was like, oh, I see exactly what this is. It's a new industry. They want you to take it, and you know who the best purveyors of the solution are? The assessors. The assessors. Prior to 2014, people weren't worried about, like, he's saying that this has been happening for a long time. But it wasn't until 2014 that we actually had access to the data from our testing. There was a rule that, like, only your doctor could see your scores. You couldn't own them and see them yourself and make decisions on your own. But in 2014, that happened. And what that did is it opened up the opportunity for all new industries to offer you alternative solutions. And don't think that these companies that have alternative solutions aren't funded by, or maybe even part and parcel with, the drug companies. I mean, it is a drug. You need a prescription for testosterone. I don't know about these peptides. I haven't really looked too much into the peptides, but I think if I just am proceeding from the same paradigm, the peptides are the same thing. I know that Peter Thiel, again, I don't know too much about stuff. Peter Thiel has funded this clavicular kid, which is a figurehead in the looks maxing world, where, like, there are all these guys. There's sort of been a movement that's happening with that guy, Brian Johnson, like, how much supplements can you take so that you could live forever? But like it caught wind with the young guys. And they're like, what can we do so that we can actually seem manly? Right? And how can we prop up our declining masculinity with these medical interventions? So once again, you arrive at this very same problem. We're trying to save the problem at the level at which the problem is created. And the problem is this problem-solution situation. So we got to break free from that. And this is what I propose to you guys here today. To break free from this paradigm of problem-solution. Because as long as the scientists are telling us there's problems, there's going to be people that want to profit from your solution. And the people who profit from the solution are usually the people that are creating the problems. I tend to think that ignorance is truly bliss. Happy as a pig in shit. When we didn't know about our testosterone levels, it wasn't a problem. Did you know that? For a long time, men's testosterone levels were getting lower, right? They said since the 1970s. Why all of a sudden are we now doing something about it? Well, because we're told that there's a problem. And who makes up these numbers based on what the problem becomes a problem, right? Like, there is a standard for testosterone, and if you don't meet the standard, then you got a problem. You got a made up problem, just like the drug commercials on TV. Like, I didn't know I had a problem with short eyelashes. I swear to God, I've seen this. Short eyelash, and they gave it a disease name. And you got to go and ask your doctor for a prescription to get your eyelashes fixed. But I didn't even know I had an eyelash problem. Most of us didn't know we had a testosterone problem until the testosterone industry started telling us, because the assessor. So the first thing I would say to do is stop getting your testosterone tested. And I know that might sound irresponsible, but until you hear what I have to say about your testosterone levels, you're just playing a circle jerk game. Your testosterone levels are never level. They're never level. You could test your testosterone levels at 6 a.m. on a Sunday, and it could be 980. And then you could test it at 6 p.m. on a Friday, and it's 420. Right? Sunday, after a long restful night, didn't get drunk, stress is low, spent the time with my family. I go and get my testosterone checked, and guess what? It's going to be kind of good. But after a long week of work, stressing out with your boss, stressing out with your wife, and having a couple of drinks, and you go get tested, it's going to be in the dumps. Your testosterone levels are not like a woman's levels that shift over the course of 28 days. Your testosterone levels do this every day, based on the positions of the sun. That's why you're considered a son of God, because your body does what it does based on what the sun's doing. Did you check where the sun was when you got your testosterone tested? I don't think so. Is the doctor telling you, hey, wait a second, before you get tested, let's make sure that you optimized the circumstances under which you're getting tested? No. If I want to have low T, all I got to do is eat a bunch of junk food, drink a bunch of beer, and they'll go to sleep tonight. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to have low T. And that's what you're basing this shit off of. Most of us, I don't know what the scientists here did. But I'm saying most of us who are like, well, you know what? Maybe I've got low T. I need to go check it out. Don't get your testosterone tested. I don't believe that anymore. I don't think you need to get it tested. What we need more than anything is an honest assessment of how we feel, how we think, how we perform in our lives. Do you feel good? Well, yeah, I feel amazing. Are you sharp? Are you energetic? Are you getting your work done? Well, yeah, everything's going pretty well. Are you getting a boner every day? Are you getting a boner at least enough to bone your wife? Well, yeah, no problem like that. Are you working out in the gym and you're building a little muscle? Yeah, no problem. Well, then guess what? You have no problem. Don't go get tested. Because the minute you go get tested, now you got a problem. It's like these people who go get cancer tests. I had no problem. I had no problem until I get cancer tests and they did biopsy and they blew up the fucking tumor in my body and now I got cancer and I got 3 months to live. Don't go to the doctor. Assess based on the way you feel, the way you look, the way you perform. That's what we did forever and there was no problem. And if you don't like the way you look, you don't like the way you feel, you don't get a boner every day, then guess what? Testing is not going to do anything. And if you do start taking like TRT or you start getting on the peptides or you start taking their medication, because as fancy as the name is, you try to give this shit, it's fucking medication. Or you go get on medication. You want to go get on medication? Good. Now you get on that medication and you know what happens? Fertility drops and you're stuck on it. This is coming from a guy who's used it. I used steroids for a couple months when I was a strong man. It made me strong as fuck until I tore my biceps. I stopped. Then when I got into my 40s, I said, you know what? Even though my testosterone wasn't low, I saw everybody else getting it on it, and I was being a bit of a FOMO bitch, and I was like, let me get on some TRT. I blew up, got high blood pressure, and quickly realized, look, I can't take this shit for the rest of my life. And if I continue on it, my body will stop producing, so let me get off this shit while I don't need it. Maybe when I'm 70, I don't know, I want to. But I have this sense. I'm a philosopher. This is just my paradigm. This is what I think and this is what I believe, and I can change my mind if I want. That declining testosterone with age has a wisdom to it. Like God knows what he's doing. Your testosterone levels don't go down as you age because there's a problem. Just like a woman she's not sick when she's pregnant. You're not sick. That's a natural biological thing, but you got to go to the doctor and they treat you like you're a sick patient. No, she's just pregnant. Lowering testosterone is a natural biological process. And I think there's a wisdom behind it because there's a certain point in a man's life when he's got to hang up the bullshit, stop competing with young men, and allow wisdom, allow peace, calm. Dare I say a bit of passivity to cool his life down a little bit. Be proud of your low T if you got low T. But if there's something wrong with the way you feel and the way that you're performing, the way that you think in your life, there's something you can do about it. It's all very basic. You don't need me to tell you. Stop eating junk food. Stop drinking alcohol. Get into the gym and work out. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. It's not rocket science. It may have been 10 years ago, but we got ChatGPT. We got YouTube. We got Google. If you don't know what to do, it's because you don't want to know what to do and you want somebody to give you a solution. So that's it. That's all. That's my opinion on that, y'all. Testosterone levels are plummeting, but it's not a problem unless you make it one. Done.